Hi everyone, it's Ash. This is Indie Insider, and my guest today is Mark from Pulse Park. How are you, Mark?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What's the weather like there?
I'm sorry?
What is the weather like there?
The weather is perfect. The sun is shining. It's quite cold, but
Really?
it's the sun. And that's a big thing for us because we didn't have any sun for weeks.
Oh, don't you miss it when you don't get it?
Yeah,
It's
that's
actually
true.
quite miserable here. The sun's shining here, but it's quite cold and very, very windy.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, right. Mark, can you just tell us how the band formed and the story behind the band's name?
Yeah. The band formed in late 2019. We met through the internet. I was searching for people to make music with. I had written a bunch of songs over the years, and I just looked around for people to play with. And Oliver, our drummer, just contacted me, and he knew some other guys to play with, and so we started playing and fooling around with my songs, and we were very quickly very happy with the results. And so we started as a four-piece, and then the initial bass player left us, and our second guitar player, Frank, just took the bass, and it worked perfectly as a trio. And
Okay.
then that was a very short forming process. Then Corona came in early 2020, so we had to practice separately, and but nevertheless we found a very quick process to get a bunch of songs together and record them, and that was the story in a nutshell.
Okay, that's a
And
very interesting story.
thank you. And the name of the band, there's a piece
Yes.
of art. There's a piece of art called Pulse Park. It's some sort of installation. A Canadian artist, Raphael Lozano Hammer, did this very close to my hometown. It is you have to imagine that there's a little stadium full of lights, and
Okay.
they're all connected together. And if you touch a metal plate, then your pulse, your heartbeat will translate on the lamps, on the lights,
Wow.
and they are flashing in the rhythm of your heartbeat. And that was very impressive to me. And um, I thought of it as kind of a metaphor for what we want to accomplish with our music. Translate something very personal and very easy and very simple to great effect, and reach as many people as possible. So
Oh,
we found it would be a good name for our band.
well, that's a very interesting story. I'm very impressed. And Mark, could you describe your band's music style to someone who has never heard you before?
Hmm. That's maybe the most difficult question you could ask me.
Well, just say, is
Um,
it sort of like a catchy tunes that you guys perform?
yeah, what we try is make music that is both simple and compelling at the same time. We want to create something that people will connect to very easily, because we know that there's so much music out there. You don't have many attempts and much time to convince people to listen to your music.
Right,
So either you hit the right button or you don't. So we want to make something quite palatable, but interesting enough to spend time with it, so that it's
right,
not too catchy, too cheesy. Um, when we started, we didn't have any idea what kind of style we would play. We just tried the songs, and from practice to practice, we became tighter and louder and maybe heavier. The guitar sound wise, but on at the same time, my vocals are quite soft and quiet, and So we have a balance between this heavy and quite harsh stuff with, Oliver's banging the drums and Frank is pounding the bass and I'm banging on my guitar. At the same time, we have these melodies that are sometimes even like the children's songs, from the past.
Yes.
And that's what suited us well, as we found out by trial and error. And so all the songs are written on an acoustic guitar and start as quiet as ballads. And when I present them to the boys, they become punk rock songs every time.
That's good.
So,
I like that. And Mark, who writes songs? The three of you get together and write the songs together, or is there one person that just writes the songs?
no, actually, it's just me. I'm
Okay.
presenting the fully written songs and lyrics to the boys, and what we do together is arrange them.
Right.
But the writing is just my part in the band.
Okay, so there's no basic creative differences in the band where one person would say, I want to write this song, or I want to, do the music for this song. So how do you just say, right, I'll write the songs and then we just put it together and work it that way?
Yes. There haven't been any differences so far. Knock
Okay.
on wood.
Yeah, knock
We
on wood, yeah.
we of course we have quite different musical backgrounds. I'm Oliver is very much into this kind of noise rock thing, Sonic Youth, Pixies, and stuff like that, and Frank is likes some very very progressive stuff, Frank Zappa and Captain Beefheart and stuff like that,
Okay.
and I have quite broad variety of stuff that I like, from very quiet singer-songwriter stuff like Nick Drake or Red House Painters to very harsh and strange and crazy music and brutal music.
Right.
And it all comes together in the sound we have found, we think. So there is no room for creative differences because the guys don't care about the lyrics I write. They are okay with everything basically
Oh,
because
good.
I have to sing it, and, and the songwriting itself was great. The guys liked it so far, and I hope that this will continue for maybe a third record that we could make.
Well, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And with being a trio, do you find things rewarding? And what is the most challenging that all three of you have encountered?
Um, of course, a trio means restrictions,
Yes,
because when we have this production on our records, you can hear a lot of instruments and overdubs and stuff like that. When we play live, we have to do a
right,
very strict version of all the songs. And sometimes, well, some of the songs we cannot play live because they don't work as a
right.
trio. Don't have people around us that could add something to it. But what's great about being a trio is that all the moments when you have to make decisions, decision making is very easy with three
Yes,
people, because if you have two people with one opinion, then you have the answer to the question. So it's very simple, but most of the time there are no differences in the opinions. The three of us are most of the time we have the same view on things. So meeting the two guys was a gift for me.
oh, well, that's good. I always believe in fate, and
Yeah,
fate,
maybe.
brings people together that you don't expect to.
Yeah, most of many of the songs were written in the 90s. Whenever people say we sound like the typical bands of the 90s, that's because the songs were actually written then.
Okay,
Um, when I was a teenager, and it was my 40th birthday that I decided I would try again to find the right people to make music with. And I gave myself this one chance of finding the people, and then was the moment when I found the best musicians and the best company of people that I could ever imagine. I've been searching these people for 20 plus years, and now I have found them. So yeah, I think I do believe in fate.
Definitely, 100%. And Mark, how do you guys connect with your fans, both on and off stage?
Um, on stage, I don't talk too much on stage because I have to concentrate myself, and
Right.
I'm suffering from stage fright. But our bass player Frank is a very funny guy. He talks a lot to the fans and tells funny stories while I'm tuning my guitar. I play with different guitar tunings, so sometimes we have these little breaks when I have to retune my guitar, and Frank will always tell a funny story or ask the people questions or something. So that is a great part of connecting, and shows a very different, lighter side of our band, because the music is quite melancholic at times and serious, and then we have this funny side on the other hand, and it's a good way to show that. And when we get off stage, we love to talk to people and have them tell us how they liked it.
Right.
And off stage, apart from the shows we play, we love being contacted via internet. Because it's so strange how our little band, starting in a practice space 3 years ago or 4 years ago, has reached on this very strange channels people on the other side of the world. We get emails from Australia or the Philippines or Peru.
Wow, that's good.
We cannot even imagine how it's looking there. And it would be a dream to go there and play for the people. Or a Russian band 2 years ago contacted us asking if we were okay with them covering one of our songs. So to get this kind of reaction, that people in Russia love our music so much, and it means so much to them that they want to make their own version of it.
Wow.
It was very rewarding and very, very beautiful.
I can imagine, the pride you must have felt, like all your hard work. It's like, yes, we are loved worldwide.
And it's just a hobby. We all have full-time jobs and families, and it's just the thing we do as something we love to do as a side thing, as a hobby. Yeah. And,
okay.
And then getting these kinds of reaction, we don't have any expectations success-wise. Every little step is a huge success for us. We played our first show outside of our country in Belgium in February.
Wow.
And it was a crazy experience for us. And then in May we will play in Paris, France. And
fantastic.
maybe in August we will play in Stockholm, Sweden, because people are asking us to come there, and each time we cannot believe it. So it's really, really a very nice and great time for us, actually.
Oh, that's so rewarding. I hope you're going to come to England.
Oh, we'd love to, yeah.
Well, let me know when you do, because I'd love to come and see you.
Yeah, we will.
And how do you manage the pressures and demands that come with touring?
We keep ourselves from these pressures and demands because we don't actually tour. We play shows here and there, but we cannot go on a tour because our jobs and our families would not allow to be away for weeks. But that's another very nice and comfortable part of how we approach things. We see it as a hobby, and we do what we can do. But if anything gets impossible for us, we won't even try. And but so far we didn't have to cancel anything.
Oh,
But
that's good.
What I have to admit is that there is something, we'd love to do even more than we're actually doing. So these restrictions that we have can be disappointing. We do not even plan. Of course, I have nothing against touring. I'd love to get in a van with the guys and drive around Europe or overseas maybe even. But we know that it's not possible, so we don't even try to think about it.
Sure. We're just going back to what you mentioned earlier, that it's a hobby and that you all have full-time jobs. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of being in the band?
We have to. We are dependent on very understanding partners, of course.
That's the most important, yes.
It is. So it's very helpful that all our partners are music fans themselves, so they can understand what drives us and why we're doing the things the way we're doing it. But of course, there's an inner conflict here and there. We cannot do everything we want to do, but at the moment, we have found a good balance for all of us.
Well, that's really, really good.
Yeah, we're really, really happy at the time. It's great.
Oh, that's good. Right now, here's the fun questions, and I'm sure you're going to laugh about it. Which band member would survive a zombie apocalypse and why?
I think our bass player Frank, because he's very strong, both physically and mentally, and I think he would know exactly how to treat zombies the way they deserve it. So I think
that's a good question.
And maybe yes. Oliver would survive too, because we could hide behind Frank.
If not, why not? And what's the weirdest venue you've ever played?
The weirdest venue, I think, was the one in Belgium, in Bruges, because it was outside of Bruges and there hadn't been any advertisement for the show.
Oh,
in advance. So, and we played with 2 other bands with 5 band members each. So the audience basically was the band members from the other bands,
right,
and the people we had brought with us ourselves. We had a blast. We had a very fantastic evening, but it was this club kind of has kind of cult status. Many bands played there years ago that are famous in the underground circuit, and we expected a lot of people to come, but that was crazy, because you get to this venue with very high expectations, and the size of the club itself was impressive for us, and then nobody came, but the people we had. But I have to say, it was not disappointing. It was funny, actually. We had a great night.
We could play as long
but that was strange.
A good jamming session, basically. Oh dear me. Which band member is the most likely to get lost in a new city if you're traveling for a show?
I think that would be Oliver, our drummer, because he's very, very curious. He loves being in new places and stray around, and but on the other hand, he's very organized and very, very. So, but he's the one who would not stay at the venue all the time, but stray around. So
okay,
he would be the likely one to get lost in the city.
Lost. And then just a final funny question: who's the biggest jokester in the band, and what's the best prank they've pulled?
That would be Frank again, our bass player. But he's great at imitating dialects.
Okay.
That's pretty crazy. And he can switch the dialect so quickly that people who don't know him really wonder where he comes from. So in his stage banter, he sometimes switches the dialects, and that's
Okay.
really funny to see in the audience's faces. When there's first there's a very Eastern German accent, and then 3 songs later there's a Bavarian accent without explaining anything, and that's really funny for all of us.
I can imagine. Mark, before we go, could you just tell the listeners where they can find your music and where to follow you on social media?
Music can be found on all streaming platforms, or the common streaming platforms, namely Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, or iTunes, how it's called, Deezer, and SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And we are on Facebook and Instagram, and I think even Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but I think the band is.
The band is.
So,
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely
so
fantastic.
it's quite easy. And we do have a little mail order thing for vinyl. If anybody's interested in our new record, that's coming out on April 19th,
Okay.
digitally, but it can be ordered now on vinyl.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Mark, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and chat with us. I've really enjoyed this. You know, I was so excited to interview you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks
Well,
for having me.
thanks so much, Mark, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks,
Have
Mark.
a good day.
You too then. Take care.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.